You're listening to CBC Online at cbchs.org.
CBC Online, visiting with Coach Terry Michler. And Coach, you guys are in the Final Four, State Semifinals. That's a trip. It's going to take you to Blue Springs South High School. So, Coach, the fact that you got to pack up and go to Kansas City, I know you mentioned previously, sometimes those away games are good for your team.
Yeah, it'd be a different experience. I mean, going to the Final Four isn't anything new, but going out of town to do it is definitely new. So, yeah, but this is a pretty resilient group, so they seem to take on whatever challenge is in front of them, and they seem to find a way to work through it. So, bring it on.
And you kind of mentioned the way to they find a ways to make their way through it. And certainly the last two games against the Lafayette game and certainly the game here against Vianney really showed some resilience. And talk about just that aspect of your guys. They really don't seem to have any quit in them.
No, I think what they've got is they've got a lot of belief. We talked about that. We've been talking about that throughout the year. Is that you just got to believe in what you're doing and what you can do, what you have done, and pull from what you've done as you need it. Like we talked Saturday morning before the game. I brought him in Saturday morning for a little short practice, and at the end of the practice, I said, "What do you think is a stronger stronger emotion, hope or belief?" And they all agreed belief was. And I said, "Well, Vianney hasn't beaten us in 3 games. They can only hope to beat us today. We've beaten them 3 times, so we believe we can beat them." So I agree. Belief is stronger than hope. We had pretty strong belief. In the last 7 minutes of the game, it proved out. I mean, we didn't pack it in, didn't give up, fought through it, got goals, won the game. It was awesome.
But as a guy who's been in the game for 40-plus years, I got to imagine when you get to the Final Four, even the Final 8, most of the teams are pretty evenly matched, but it really does come down to that mental game. And you guys have been able to kind of conquer that this year.
I told them I happened to be wearing a T-shirt that day, Saturday morning, I think, and it was from 2009 when we won the championship, and we had the Will of a Champion theme. And I said, today is the same game we played in 2009. We played Vianney in the quarterfinal on a Saturday. We played in the afternoon, played at the soccer park. It was a beautiful day. It was a huge crowd, and it was a dogfight of a game. We had to beat Vianney for the 4th time that year again, and it went back and forth game, and it was a dogfight, and we found a way to win it. And I think you're right. At the end of the day, when all things are equal, the difference makers are always little subtle things. But I think you got to have a mental approach. You got to have a belief system. You got to have something to fall back on, and everybody's got to buy into it.
And how much does respect for the opponent play? Certainly Vianney, certainly Dave Gavain played for you, but you had a lot of respect for him.
Oh yeah, I tell the kids anybody can beat you once. If you get beat in the wrong time, it's all over with. So you respect them until you beat them. Once you beat them, then it's over. Until you beat them, they can still beat you. So, yeah, no games are won until the final whistle.
And certainly over here on the St. Louis side, we get a lot of focus on the way we play soccer. But Kansas City, they're certainly building a program. They're successful over there. So talk about Kansas City, Rockhurst specifically, that you're going to be playing.
Well, we don't dodge any bullets anywhere along the way as far as we've been going this year. And Rockhurst is the best of the West, and they've been that for a long time. They've got more district championships, state appearances than everybody else over there combined, multiplied. They're the team of the West. And Chris Lawson's done a great job with them, and he'll have them ready, and he'll be excited. And, we played them down in Jeff City earlier this year in middle October, and we were able to win 2-1 in overtime. And it was a good game, and Saturday will be an awesome game as well. And they're going to have a big crowd because Rockhurst football lost in their playoff games. So they don't have nothing left for those students to do but to come out and cheer their soccer team on, and they're close. It's suburb of Kansas City, so they're in numbers. So once again, we got some adversity we got to deal with, and we'll be up to it. We'll be ready for it.
Maybe not a storyline, but certainly something to mention. Now, you played some pro soccer in Kansas City for the old Kansas City Spurs. You want to talk about the experience of playing in Kansas City back then and being able to come back?
Well, I went to Rockhurst College too. So for 4 years, I was Rockhurst College, and then I was with the Kansas City Spurs in 1969. High school soccer in Kansas City, I actually stayed there and coached Bishop Hogan High School for, I think, 2 seasons. And Rockhurst High School was good then, but there were very few teams that played, so the quality wasn't very good. It's grown a lot since then. The area itself, they got the pro team. They've got an indoor team still. They're ahead of us. We don't have a pro team. We don't have an indoor team, So soccer in Kansas City has really gotten a good foothold. and it's in the high schools now, and it's pretty solid in high schools. So, yeah, it's good to see that it's come on. It's like a lot of other parts of the country, it's growing leaps and bounds. We got to keep up.
And finally, you guys, you mentioned didn't dodge any bullets. Your road to this point, you had to go through the defending state champions. You have to go through, some pretty tough competition. It almost seems like you don't really have to say much. You don't have to say much to the kids after an emotional game like that. It's kind of they know.
Yeah, it's just another game we win to get to play again, and it's another challenge. The Lafayette game is tougher than all of them so far because that wasn't the premier spotlight team. They came from a little bit off the pace, so to speak, but they came gunning. And they had their sights set on us, and they were hoping they'd catch us on an off day, and they'd have a good game. We'd be a little bit off, and they could get us. And it was pretty close. It came pretty close to that. I think now everybody knows. Now that I told them Saturday, I said you get two emotions going into this game for motivation. You either you play to win so you can go on and be alive for the next game, or you play because you don't want to lose and end your season. Whichever one of those is strongest, go with it. And if you can blend them, okay, blend them. But one's stronger than the other, take it and run with it. You either don't want to end it or you want to keep it going. So we kept it going. Now we're guaranteed 2 more games, and nobody gets excited about third place games, so we're playing to get to the final.
And again, the fact that you've done this over a course of 40 years, being in the state semifinals really isn't anything new. But what gets you excited? Do you still feel the excitement?
Oh, absolutely. My gosh. I mean, when I don't feel the excitement, I think I need to go in and turn it in. I'll be done. The excitement is still there every day. Every day is a challenge, getting the kids ready to play and managing the game, making decisions, making adjustments. I'm not the rah-rah emotional guy. I'm not up and down the sidelines ranting and raving and screaming, but I'm observant, and I look at things for what they are out there, and so I try to be rational and processing, what's going on, what do I need to do to help the team, what do I need to do to put the team in the best position to win. That's what it's all about, As long as I got that, as one of my guiding lights, I guess you say, then I think I'm still good for the game.
Again, that's Coach Terry Michler, class of 1965, bringing his team to the state semifinals at Blue Springs South. That game will be at 4 p.m. And Coach, good luck. We'll talk to you next time.
CBC, Men for Tomorrow, Brothers for Life.